Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all are having a blessed Friday and I hope y'all are staying safe. If you hop on, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button as well as hit that notification bell so y'all know when I go live. And I hope y'all are staying safe and I hope y'all are having a blessed day on this Friday afternoon. I am going to share the news. This is my news YouTube channel. I do have a business channel as well as my Bella and we share a channel. She is my pet. Hers is the Bark Box and mine is the Tambourine's Fiery $5 Bling Boutique. That's my business behind me. But this is my news, so I'm going to share some news. I'm going to bring my news deal right here so I can share some news with y'all. And I'm sorry about the glare in my glasses. Excuse me, I have not figured out how to get the glare off my glasses when I read to y'all because I do not want to give y'all no bogus stimulus update. So when y'all click on to my channel, I hope that y'all find that I am not giving y'all no lies or nothing. So please hit that like bell and hit that subscribe bell as well as hit that notification bell. So let me find what I'm going to read or or if they are on live, we will listen to them as well. Okay, let me see what we are going off into the world today. Okay. Oh, outbreaks of a drug-resistant superbug fungus spread in 2 U.S. city, CDC reports. Oh my goodness, isn't this something? Now, this is something weird. Okay, if it lets me, we will read this. It says, outbreaks of a drug-resistant superbug fungus spread among patients in hospitals. Mm, mm, mm. That's pitiful. And long-term care facilities in Texas, that's my state, and Washington, D.C., the Center for Disease and Controls and Prevention reported Thursday the fungus Candida auris preys on people with weakened immune systems. The CDC said evidence suggests these cases involve person-to-person transmissions, which would be first for the first U.S. Now, isn't that something? What is your thoughts on this? Now, this is just crazy. This world is becoming just outrageous, crazy. First the COVID, now this is crazy. The clusters in the two cities appear to be unrelated to each other. The report said the 30-day mortality in both outbreaks combined was 30%, although other health conditions may also played a role. Canada areas, which was first seen in the U.S. in 2013, is resistant to multiple antifungal drugs that we have, and it's also resistant to all other things that we have, and it's also resistant to all the things that we use to eradicate bacteria and fungal strains in the hospital. And Dr. Nita Ogden, I cannot pronounce that name, an internal medicine specialist told CBS News in 2019 after health officials issued a warning about the emerging threat. Now, isn't that something? This is just getting outrageous. Of 101 cases of the fungus identified in Washington, D.C., identified in Washington, D.C. from January to April 2021. Three were isolated as being resistant to all three major classes of antifungal medicines. Those cases occurred at long-term care facility for severely ill patients. There were 22 cases identified in Texas during the same period, with two being resistant to all three antifungal medicines and five resistant to two of the medicines. Those 7 cases were found in patients at 2 acute care hospitals, one long term and one short term. 2 of the patients were treated at both hospitals. The CDC did not identify facilities, but CBSD out of Dallas Fort Worth reports they were both in the Dallas area. Now, isn't that something? This is really the first time we've started seeing clustering of resistance in which patients seem to be getting the infections from other patients. Okay, now isn't that something? Said of the CDC's Dr. Megan Lehman and author of the report. Candida aureus infections have been reported in hospitals and long-term care facilities around the world. People have been hospitalized long-term or who have breathing tubes, feeding tubes, and central venous catheters appear to be at highest risk. The fungus can cause wound infections of bloodstreams infections, which can be fatal. Now, what is y'all's opinion on this? It is just getting crazy out there. That's just something. And we just need to be careful. Just be careful. I hope y'all are being careful and being safe out there. That's just being outrageous, just really crazy. Okay, let me find another kind of news that we could be. Okay, let me see. Let me see another kind of news thing that I can find on Google. Then we'll go to news break. Let me see if I can find a stimulus update. Stimulus update. Let me see. And I know that people have been wanting a stimulus update. Okay. That's 1 day ago, 7 hours ago. Because I don't want to give no bogus deals out there. Okay, that's 1 day ago. Y'all probably heard that. That's 19 hours ago. I don't want to give repeat news that y'all have already heard. Okay, let me see. Let me refresh. Then we'll find some more news. Okay, we're going to refresh and I just read that one. Okay. Well, this is something interesting. I do not know if y'all heard this one yet, but this is world news. So my internet's slow, people. I'm sorry. Okay, this one has Florida and Texas both have, okay, I'm going to let y'all hear this one. But the ad is loading. Okay. I'm going to let y'all hear this one. Hopefully the ad don't play. Okay, y'all. Let's see here. Let's see. This is about the Ben and Jerry's. Okay. This says Florida and Texas have both threatened sanctions against the ice cream brand Ben and Jerry's following the brand's announcement of an upcoming boycott that will end sales of its product with Israel's occupied Palestine territories. Florida and Texas are the two of 35 states that have passed laws or have executive orders that forbid companies and organizations from participating in the boycott, divestments of and sanitation movements. I'm sorry, sometimes the words I can't pronounce. BDS. The BDS movement seeks to economically harm Israel for its actions and against Palestinian people. Okay, let me read the whole story. It has come to my attention that Ben & Jerry's has announced plans to remove its products and prohibit the sale of its ice cream in Judea and Samaria. Republican Florida Governor Ron, I cannot pronounce his last name, wrote in a letter to the executive director of the state's administrative board on Thursday. The letter noted that Ben and Jerry's, in wholly owned a subsidiary of a publicity traded company that holds multiple Florida investments, if Ben and Jerry's continued with its planned boycott, wrote, the executive board will have to stop acquiring any and Unilever assets in order to comply with the state's anti-BDS laws. Let me see. And it's not letting me read the rest of the story. Let me see if it's going to let me. I hope so. No, it's not. It's not letting me. It's going to an ad. I want to read the. Now that's something. I guess that was the end of the story. Okay. Texas power grid has sufficient generation this summer, ERCOT claims. I hope that's how you say it. I'm in Texas, can't even pronounce it. The heads of the Electric Reliability Council of the Texas, or ERCOT, and Public Utility Commission of Texas said Wednesday they believe the state's power grid should have no trouble keeping up with the demand as the hottest day of summer approach. I hope not, because I live in Texas. ERCOT interim president and CEO Brad Jones and PUC chairman Peter Lake gave an update or some operation changes that have been completed recently. ERCOT revealed 60 initiatives earlier this month aimed at shoring up the grid's reliability after last winter's massive outages. Jones said 22 of those initiatives have been completed. That 60-item roadmaps will be updated regularly through the end of the year. To Jones, that's sad that people had to lose their lives before they got on the ball to work it. Taking a more aggressive approach by bringing more generation online sooner if it's needed to balance supply and demand. The grid operator is also purchasing more reserve power, especially on days when the weather forecast is uncertain. Requiring CEO certifications after a rule change, all market participants who own or operate generation resources and or transmission distribution power lines will be required to submit a letter signed by their CEO twice a year certifying their companies have completed their weatherization prepare, preparation to protect the electric grid for their summer and winter seasons, adding new requirements for generations owners. ERCOT to proposing a new market rule that requires generators to provide operational updates more frequently, assessing on-site fuel supplies. ERCOT is reviewing the need for on-site fuel supplies for some generators, performing unannounced testing of generation resources. ERCOT says this is testing helps verify that generators have provided accurate information about their availability, addressing transmission constraints in Rio Grande Valley. ERCOT and PUC are initiating a process to address RGV transmission limitations and providing increased market access for resources the valley. ERCOT says this will improve reliability for customers during normal conditions and high risk weather events. ERCOT and grid whose continue to be top of mind for Texas. At least 220 generators were offline the week of June 14th, when council officials called for Texans to conserve power, while ERCOT told ABC 13 that many of those plants were offline for repairs. Most simply gave regulators no clear reason for why they couldn't produce power. When we asked ERCOT official about the summer, they couldn't say for sure that there would be enough power to get us through the hot season. But ERCOT first came under fire due to February's deadly blackout in Texas. More than 4 million people lost power when temperatures plunged into the single digit over Valentine's Day. Weekend icing power generators and buckling the state's electric grid. State officials say they have confirmed at least 151 deaths blamed on the freeze and resulting outages, but the real toll is believed to be higher. ERCOT manages the flow of electric power to more than 26 million customers in Texas. That represents about 90% of the state's electric load. ERCOT is also overseen by the PUC. Last week, in a letter to the PUC, Abbott directed the commission to have ERCOT incentive the development and the maintenance of additional natural gas, coal, and nuclear powered generating capacity. Abbott also directed the PUC to require solar and wind power generators. Generators to compensate customers for the cost of their unavailability. Instruct ERCOT to establish a maintenance schedule for gas, coal, and nuclear electric generating plants, and order ERCOT to accelerate the development of transmission projects to improve connectivity between existing and new power plants in areas needing power. The objective of these directives is to ensure that all Texans have access to reliable, safe, and affordable power, and that this task is achieved is the quickest way. Abbott said is in the letter. Through clear communication, transparency, and implementation of these critical changes, the PUC and ERCOT, hold on. Okay, I lost my place. I'm sorry. Okay. I lost my place. I am very sorry. There we go. The PUC and the ERCOT can regain the public's trust to restore ERCOT's status as a leader in innovation and reliability, and ensure Texans have the reliable electric power they expect and deserve. The contrast with his June 8th declaration that Republican controlled legislator reforms fix all of the flaws that lead to the blackout. At that time of Abbott's declaration, energy's expert thought of the legislator's reforms were inadequate. In his letter, Abbott said that while the legislator had overhauled the ERCOT board of the director straightened power plant weatherization requirements and improved communications, more was needed. While the law significantly reformed Texas energy and electric power market, more can be done to increase power generation capacity and ensure the reliability of Texas power grid. Abbott's letter stated, the letter presumes that the non-renewable power source of gas, coal, and nuclear provide reliable power. Texans were asked to conserve power less than a week after declaration at the time. Texans were asked to raise thermostats to 78 degrees and limit use of the electric appliances. The best ERCOT spokesman could tell that 13 investigates was that they know it helps, but at this point we don't know how much. State leaders continue to probe what went wrong with the power grid during February winter storm and what can be done to keep it from happening again. The state was dangerously close to a long-term outage that would have left millions of Texans in the dark for not days but weeks. In the video, ABC 13 data analyst Keaton Fox is making it easier for understand exactly what happened when Texas entered into the Texas zone during the start of the winter storm. Let's hear what he has to say.
Duolingo knows learning a language is hard.
Okay, of course, ads. It's always about ads. I'm sorry.
Languages and complete daily goals, all in a few minutes a day. Stay motivated with free and effective bite-sized lessons.
Okay.
Ready? Start learning with the world's #1 language learning app. Download Duolingo.
Okay, here it is.
Hi there, I'm ABC 13's data analyst Keaton Fox. Let's get you caught up on all that we've learned today from this ERCOT call, this emergency call with the board of directors. First of all, we know now that power problems started earlier than we knew on Sunday the 14th. That was the day that most folks lost their power overnight. We also have learned the grid was just 4 minutes and 37 seconds away from total failure. We're going to go over that and a little bit more how that happened. Half of backup generation was offline. Think about, we had backups to the backups. Well, half of the backups were offline. And at the height, we lost half of the grid altogether. 50% of power generation went offline during this event. This is a timeline given to us by ERCOT. I'm going to zoom in here so we can take a look at, we can get a little bit better look at this. Nope, just kidding, not going to zoom in. That's all right. But taking a look at some of these dates and times
I thought that it
across
would go with the phone. I'm
here.
sorry.
You can certainly see that as of Sunday morning, they had started to think about conservation and problems here. You can see here the State Operations Center started ramping up as well. But take a look at this. Right here at 317, there was a projected reserve capacity.
Well, I thought. Okay, I'm sorry. We're going to continue the post.
Capacity shortage moving right here. Freezing and precipitation forces transmission outages. That happened at 5:19. That's when things really started to go off here. Now, come up here to the top area. This is where things really started to get bad. By 12:15 in the morning on that Sunday when we had all lost power, that was the first stage. Level 1 was hit. Within about an hour, we hit level 2. And then very shortly after that, we went into level 3 alert. So you can see how quickly things went out of control. What we learned from this was that we knew that outages had actually begun a little bit earlier than we expected in that system failure across the grid. This is a grid at when things started to go offline. Again, this is the timing and the date, and we did not also know this. We knew that this was sort of the peak time that things began to go offline. This is how much generation was offline, by the way. This is what this grid is. Look at how long we went where most of our grid was offline, from the evening of the 15th to the middle of the 17th. This is why we talk about why this whole event is so unprecedented here. For a full 48 hours, we had 50,000 megawatts that were offline for 2 full days. And you gotta keep in mind here that at this point right here, we're talking about 50% of our grid not working for 2 days or more. The real turnaround time, obviously, was right here in the middle of that Wednesday when things started to go down. And problems began to subside, but this is significant. And this is why so many folks want to look at what really, really happened here. The other piece of this that's really interesting, again, I know that this is very, very difficult to sort of see, so I'll zoom in here on this time right here in particular. But what we watch is a frequency. The grid has to remain at a certain frequency for it to run properly. That is this frequency right here. At 1:53 in the morning, when it dipped below the first time for the frequency for the first time, that's when you sort of think about that control room alarm bells going off type thing. That's what's happening here. This is the span of 4 minutes and 37 seconds where things were really, really bad in that ERCOT control room. They were able to start pushing people off the grid fast, and it got back up above that frequency level. But if this would have gone on for another 5 minutes, that would have meant the grid would have hit auto trip. After 9 minutes, the system is designed to save itself. But what happens when that auto trip is engaged is that things go offline that are not supposed to go offline. They sort of go off unceremoniously, if you will. Think about a running computer and you just unplug it. You're not supposed to do that because it can screw the computer up. And it's sort of the same way with power facilities. You don't want to pull the plug at any one time. One more graph that I want to show you here is the types of fuels that went offline. This has been a big talking point for several days. Obviously, we've heard some politicians say, well, it was the green energy that was our problem. If we look at the types of fuel and energy sources that went offline, pay particular attention to the green line. This is how much is offline for natural gas. And then you see that natural gas spikes, and we had 25,000 megawatts of natural gas offline for an extended period. Now, blue is the wind energy that we were seeing, and we only saw a small increase of wind energy that went offline, and then that sort of stayed off for the extended period of time as well. But if you want to break it down of what went offline, how much generation we really lost, natural gas is going to be the place that you go to, because you see here we were at 12,000 megawatts before the outage, and then at 25,000, that's how much we lost overall. A lot of new information coming out from this ERCOT meeting. There are hearings beginning tomorrow or beginning Thursday that we'll be at and be continuing to watch. Of course, you can find all of that information right here on abc13.com. I'm Keaton Fox 13, Eyewitness News.
And that completes this news of today. And if I ever hear any more updates of the stimulus news, I will be back. And I want to thank y'all for watching. And if, like I said, if I hear any updates of anything in the stimulus news, I will be back. I'm not going to have y'all to be clicking my YouTube for my video for any, like, yay, we have a check coming, and we don't. Just this is my news channel of news, and that's all it is. And I don't want anybody to get their hopes up of any check coming or anything like everybody else. And I just want to say hi, and y'all just stay blessed, just stay safe, just stay cool if y'all can. Just if I hear anything of any checks coming, I will let y'all know. I'm not going to be one of these saying, oh yeah, we have a stimulus check coming, click my channel. No, I'm not going to do that to y'all. No, that's not fair to y'all to get y'all's hopes up. That's not right. That is a no-no. But if you can, please hit the like, and please hit that thumbs up, and please hit the subscribe bell, and also hit that notification bell as well. And I will keep y'all posted if I hear anything. And also, I do have another channel. Is my business channel. I do sell paparazzi, and also my pet. Her name is Bella. She has hers, and she has a bark box, but I don't sell it. She just has a bark box. But y'all have a blessed day. Y'all stay safe, stay blessed. Bye-bye, y'all.